Welcome to week 3 of SMA Awareness Month. So, if you have not seen my previous video or any of my posts, SMA stands for Spinal Muscular Atrophy, and it is a degenerative neuromuscular disease which affects the motor neurons in the spine, causing all the voluntary muscles, your arms, your legs, back, trunk, to become weak and atrophied. This basically the muscles that are responsible for crawling, walking, sitting up, head and neck control, swallowing, and breathing. There are 5 subtypes, and it is based on the age of symptom onset and the highest motor milestones achieved. Did they sit up on their own? Did they get control of their head and neck, walking, crawling? Those are all motor milestones. So type 0 and type 1 are the most severe forms of SMA. Most do not live past the age of 2 without any intervention or treatment. Type 0 infants develop symptoms before birth or in utero. Type 0 babies usually die before birth or need breathing support immediately at birth. Type 1 is also known as Windnig-Hoffmann disease. It begins to affect infants between birth and 6 months of age, and most babies show signs of the disease within 3 months. Type 0 and type 1 children never reach the milestone of sitting unassisted. Type 2 is also known as chronic infantile SMA. Symptoms begin to show between 6 and 18 months, and if not diagnosed early through newborn screening or given early treatment, this form can be moderate to severe. Type 2 children are able to reach the milestone of sitting up unassisted, but they are never able to walk. Type 3 is also known as Kuddleberg-Wellander disease or juvenile spinal muscular atrophy. Symptoms begin as early as 18 months of age or as late as adolescence. This is the mildest form of SMA, and children with type 3 begin to walk, but then show difficulty walking after that, and at some point will end up in a wheelchair. Type 4 is the adult form of SMA. About most adults affected by SMA type 4 start having symptoms like muscle weakness and atrophy, along with difficulty walking, usually after age 35. Type 4 develops slowly, and many people don't know that they have it until years after the symptoms have begun. One in 50 people are carriers of SMA, and the way it develops is two parents are carriers, and their babies have a 25% chance of being perfectly healthy, 50% chance of being a carrier, and 25% chance of having the disease. As I said, 1 in 50 are carriers, and about 1 in every 10,000 babies are born each year with SMA. The good news is that in the last 10 years, there has been treatments developed, 4 main treatments, and all 50 states are now testing for SMA as part of their newborn screening. So why is newborn screening for SMA, why does that matter? Early detection saves lives. They are able to diagnose it in utero, so those type 0 babies have a chance now because they can begin treatment in utero. And so to lessen any problems when they are born. Treatment works best when started early, and the better outcomes better outcomes and better quality of life for these patients, and it empowers families. So how does newborn screening work? A few drops of blood are taken from the baby's feet when they are born. The sample is tested for the SMN1 gene, and that is the gene that maintains, strengthens, builds, and repairs muscle. The results identify babies who may have SMA, and early diagnosis leads to early treatment and support. So now let's talk about the 4 FDA-approved treatments available. There's, and I apologize if I say these names wrong, so we'll just go with it. Zolgensma is a one-time treatment given as an IV infusion that replaces the defective SMN1 gene, and it's approved for children under the age of 2. So this would be an important treatment for those type 0 and type 1 babies. The gene therapy is a one-time treatment in which a virus is delivered systematically through IV infusion to replace the SMN gene. The goal of gene therapy is to replace the SMN1. Currently, gene therapy is approved in the United States only for children under age 2. This method requires a significant amount of the virus, which is why it's not yet feasible to treat adults with the IV infusion. However, number 2 treatment is Idvisma, and it's similar. It's also a one-time intrathecal infusion or injection into the spinal canal that delivers a functional SMN1 gene to target the motor neurons. And it is approved for individuals of all types of SMA aged 2 years and older. Idvisma is a one-time gene replacement therapy approved for those, as I said, age 2 and older. It's administered via single intrathecal injection into the spinal canal, and it delivers a functional SMN1 gene to target motor neurons. Now, the first treatment that came out is the next one, Spinraza. An injection delivered into the spinal fluid several times a year. The goal of this treatment is to make SMN2, remember those are the backup genes, more efficient and like the SMN1. This doesn't distribute well throughout the body, which is why it must be injected into the spinal fluid. Babies and children must sometimes be put under anesthesia to do the lumbar puncture procedure, and many older SMA patients must receive the injection in the neck because of spinal infusions or scoliosis, which is common in SMA patients. The last one is the treatment that I am on. It's Evrysdi, or it's also known as Risdiplam. And it's an oral medication that must be taken daily for the rest of your life. And like Spinraza, this medicine helps the SMN2 gene produce protein more efficiently, similar to the SMN1. And also, Spinraza is a lifetime thing. I believe patients receive the Spinraza 4 times a year, if I remember correctly. And then Evrysdi is daily. The oral medication that must be taken daily for life. These are USA approved drug treatments and also approved in EC, or approved by the EC in Europe. Canada has limited approval. Not all drug treatments are available to everyone and in every country. So those are the 4 different treatments. I wanted to say that Evrysdi comes in 2 forms, either a tablet or a liquid. So the liquid can be delivered through a feeding tube, which a lot of SMA patients, because of the swallowing issues, have to have a feeding tube. So they're able to get the Evrysdi through their feeding tube. The last thing I want to talk to you about is your donations. Uh, please support Cure SMA. They have been the leading force in getting these treatments available, getting the research. Um, they advocate, they drive for critical advocacy, and they provide support programs such as care packages and guides, resource guides for different things like transportation, caregiving, nutrition, health issues, as well as dealing with insurance and providers that may not understand the necessity of treatments. So here is how it breaks down. 9% of your donation goes to management and general expenses. These are expenses overseeing Cure SMA's operations to ensure efficiency, accountability, and long-term sustainability. 34% goes to community support, providing tangible support programs for today, expanding local outreach, and uniting communities, and providing customized resources that meet the diverse needs of everyone impacted by SMA. Like I said, the care packages and the resources, kind of guides to help navigate different parts of the health, transportation, housing, all of that. I have received pillows. I have received in my care packages a sling for people to transfer me safely. I've received tools to use in the kitchen to help open jars and bottles. I've received blankets, just a number of things to help minimize symptoms and improve my quality of life. So 34% goes to that, 38% goes to research, advancing scientific discovery by funding basic research to understand the biology of SMA, identifying new targets and effective strategies for drug development, and supporting clinical trials and research to secure approval and ensure access to practical new treatments. So they help support and fund from the step one. This is the idea, this is the theory, this is the hypothesis, all the way to getting the FDA approval. Fundraising, 13% of every dollar you give goes to fundraising. And this includes the planning and executing fundraising campaigns and events that generate critical resources to drive research, support programs, and advocacy efforts for the SMA community. And lastly, 5% goes to advocacy, championing policies and initiatives that improve access to treatment care, removing barriers that impact daily living, and drive change for increased independence and participation for individuals and families impacted by SMA. I realize this was a long video. I hope that it provided a lot of information to you. And again, please join me in donating to Cure SMA and helping to just further eliminate this disease. My team is the defeaters because we want to defeat SMA one step at a time.